The only thing I've managed to change in the last 2 days is I thought that the rather crass title of Piers' Pack, I thought it was lazy. So yesterday we renamed it Jez's Journos. And joining me now on day 2, this is going to be hard work. So... Hold on a minute.
What did he tell you?
Listen, be quiet. I haven't even started. Socialist author, known to like champagne, Grace Blakeley. It doesn't work. A Marxist moe drinker. Don't give me that. And TalkTV contributor Esther Krakue, or Krakue is what they call.
Of course.
How are we?
We're great.
They said to me, there's so many things that we want to talk about, but what we should start with is... Well, I'll tell you what, we'll leave that till the end. Cost of living. You heard me say... BP, 6.9 billion quid profit in the last 3 months, 3 times last year, whilst this country quite literally is on its backside. Bills going through the roof, 3,600 quid in January. Short, sharp answers. Is it not disgraceful that these companies are not being forced to give back some profit?
Here's my problem, because I do think it's disgraceful and they're clearly profiting off giving people a hard time when they're finding it difficult to live. I fundamentally disagree with the windfall tax in principle because it's the government saying, oh, we think you've made a bit too much money this year, so we're just going to take it back. But what I do think they should be doing is making these big corporations pay their fair share in the first place.
Yeah.
Right? You shouldn't need a windfall tax if companies like Amazon, like BP, like these massive companies are actually paying what they should be paying in the first place.
Now, we would be politically very apart, but Colonel Bob Stewart, Tory MP, said, I'm going to sound socialist, it is immoral that these companies are making this money when people in this country are struggling, right?
It's immoral. It's irrational. It makes absolutely no sense. Where is all this money going? All this money is going into the pockets of shareholders.
Investment, allegedly.
Well, this is the point, right?
Yeah.
The reason that we've had all these long-term cuts to corporation tax is that we were told we'll cut corporation tax and nice, responsible companies will go out and spend it on investment, create jobs, boost wages. We've had a decade of wage stagnation, right? At least in part because we've had this long-term attack on the labour movement. People haven't been able to bargain for higher wages. And what have these fossil fuel companies done? They have not invested in what they said they would do, which is decarbonising, finding alternative sources of energy. Instead, they've just raked it in on fossil fuels, exacerbating the climate crisis and also exacerbating the cost of living crisis.
News, Jeremy Carl's just become a Marxist. She's speaking complete sense, isn't she, woman?
I know, for the first time.
Right, oh, don't start. Right,
it's
listen,
times
I am told to move you lot along because we've got lots to get through.
Yeah.
Penny Mordaunt, who was like that with Liz Truss. They were slagging each other off, has now come in support of her. Last night, introduced at the Exeter hustings, it was like, somebody said it was the best speech. It's Oscar-like. She was prepared. She's been angling for a job in the cabinet, hasn't she, Grace?
Well, I mean, this is so unsurprising. This is what politicians do.
Yeah.
You know, they are machines that are programmed to ensure their own self-interest, to maximise their own interests. And Penny Mordaunt's decided that she's going to fall in line behind Liz Truss because it's very obvious at this point that Liz Truss is going to win. It's why our political system is so broken. It's why it took so long for Boris Johnson to be ousted, because everyone, else in the Tory party...
Are you gutted about that, are you?
What, about Boris Johnson leaving? Yeah, absolutely.
Because I think he'll be back in 2 years. Do you know what my conspiracy theory? I think Liz Truss will serve for... Right, this is true. I read this today. Liz Truss will serve for 2 years. She'll make him the Ukrainian envoy to keep him in the spotlight. Okay. She will end up not winning the next general election. It'll be a bit of a stage situation. Starmer will get with the SNP and Boris will ride back in. Come on.
That would be my hell on earth.
I agree with you that there'll probably be no overall majority.
Yeah,
no, there won't be.
Yeah,
it's quite clear at this point. Starmer hasn't. I don't know. I think rolling back completely the Tories' majority would be quite hard because it's quite significant.
I don't think it'll be hard at all.
I think it'll be a slight lead. I think it will be a slight lead, and the only reason why I say that is because it's an excellent opportunity for Keir Starmer to really be sort of surging.
Boring,
man. But the Labour Party's infighting.
The Conservative Party literally
it.
don't have a leader right now, and Labour is basically neck and neck with the Conservative Party.
The Labour Party
astonishing.
should be out. You're so right, Chris. They should be out
There
of sight.
is so many things right now that are going on that the Labour Party should be out there talking about, saying, we are on your side. We are here to protect your interests through this cost of living
You look what
crisis.
happened at Sam Tarry on the picket line, Angela Rayner's boyfriend. He didn't like me saying that the other day, but the truth is they're going to tear themselves apart. Politics in this country is on the precipice. Now, I was told if I mention this, I have to move my chair back. Okay. 600 migrants arrived today. We've got to stop them, haven't we? Yesterday.
Yeah, that's right. He's waiting for us to tear each other apart on
this is the thing. I feel like, because we always thought about the amount of money that we're spending keeping these migrants in a hotel and all of that. And I just said, if you look at it from the French perspective, they really don't have much of an incentive to keep the migrants on French shores, for instance.
There's a war, isn't there? That's why they're coming here, because it's a war. Oh, no, France isn't war-torn,
well,
that's right.
That's the thing. But I think the bigger argument is actually being able to turn them back. Right? Because it's not just about because once they land on British shores, that's the end. You need to turn them back, not just for the sake of the migrants, but for the industry.
Wasn't it literally just a few weeks ago that we were having a big existential crisis in this country because the birth rate is too low, because we can't get workers to work in the NHS?
These people
This is actually the big problem that we have in this country. It's that there aren't enough people. No, and since Brexit, migration has gone down substantially.
I'm going to jump straight in. I don't think that's right at all.
Well, it is.
No, I'll tell you what's wrong is, unfortunately, I always thought the benefit system and the welfare state was the greatest invention in the modern world. I really passionately believe this. I am very happy to pay whatever to help people who can't help themselves. But the fact of the matter is, nowadays in this country, you can go to work, you can go to college, or you can choose to go on the dole. There are millions of people...
You can't choose to go on the dole
There are people
anymore.
who do not choose to go to work because the benefit system has made it as easy for them. It's a fact, whether you like it or not. They should be made to do those.
This narrative is completely unhinged from reality. It's completely, over the last 15 years, it's become extremely difficult to go in and claim universal credit. There have been people who've been found in their houses
I don't disagree with that, but
starved to death because they have been penalised because they haven't shown up for a job centre appointment, because they've had funerals or
Grace, you can talk over me, but there are people who choose to be on the dole because they know that they might earn 20 quid more to go to work, and you can argue all the day. I agree with what you've said.
It's crazy that you could be on the dole and earning barely more than you would be
I
in
agree,
work.
but I'm telling you now.
Partly because,
have you seen minimum wage?
Exactly. The issue is that we are not supporting the labour movement. We're not supporting workers to go out and bargain for higher wages. But secondly, there are always going to be people in our society who require help, who require support, disabled people, people who can't work.
The point?
And this is, we should not be
want...
punching down all the time.
But do you not want the money? Hear me out, then let's try a different tack. The help that we should genuinely give to the people that you've just mentioned, we shouldn't be giving it to migrants, should we?
Well, again, migrants come over here. This is the classic thing of, migrants are simultaneously coming over here and sitting on benefits and also coming over here and taking all our jobs. Actually, most people who come over here do tend to find jobs, often in the NHS. There's so many people in our social care system. People who are looking after
these migrants
old
coming
and
off
sick
the
people.
boat are not working for the NHS.
They don't. If they're refugees, then maybe they're not, because they don't speak the language and they need to be supported.
Let me land. We don't know where they're coming from. We don't know their history. These people they're being trafficked by people smugglers. This is an industry.
But that's just a gross generalisation about thousands.
Why is it that any point that you don't agree with, you say is a gross, generalisation?
I'm saying
because there's a difference.
There are people who come to this country who tear up their papers.
This is not anecdotes.
That's a fact.
But I'm telling you this for a fact, and I know this because personally I know someone who made this trip over the Mediterranean.
1 minute, ladies, I've got a headache.
He actually went to Italy. But I know people like this. For every migrant you see coming off those boats, there are people that have died in the Mediterranean or on the Channel trying to come here, and they're profiting. The people that are profiting off their deaths are people smugglers.
This country would run into the ground without migrants
coming.
Let me finish what I'm saying.
30 seconds.
This country would run into the ground without people who have come over here, risking their lives, risking a huge amount to come here, work for our NHS, support our old people, and work in our education
Jess's journos, chill. The champagne's coming out. Let's agree to disagree. Don't worry about talking to me here. I've got this. Don't worry. I'm on it. Don't worry. I've got a clock. Chill. What an honour. Esther Krakue has been taken on by Grace Blakeley. I loved that. That was fantastic. Thank you so much.
Not for the first time, and I'm sure not for the last.
Not for the last.
You prefer Jess's journos to Piers' pack, right?
They're both awful, really.